Thank you to the board. Thank you to my editors and fact checkers at the New Yorker and at the New York Review of Books. And congratulations to the other finalists, Jennifer Wilson, Julian Lucas, Christoph Irmscher, and Jeremy Leibarger, or Leibarger. We made a good faith effort to figure out how to say it, but could not figure it out in the end. I am so terrified of rereading my own writing that I've spent the last week reading and enjoying yours to try to figure out what I might say tonight. I had planned to say something about the evolving roles and responsibilities of the literary critic, but every time I sat down to write about that topic, I was distracted by two recent events. There are many, many recent events to be distracted by, but these were the two that kept coming to my mind. First, for the past several weeks, my colleagues at universities across the UK have been striking to protest devastating cuts to their pensions and the persistent refusal of academic management teams to address pay gaps, precarious employment, and rising workloads. I work at a university that did not meet the voter turnout to take industrial action, and so I have been watching from the sidelines with anger and dismay. Second, it was recently announced that last year's winner of the Nona Balakian Citation, Joe Livingstone, would be dismissed from their position as a staff writer at the New Republic. The dismissal was explained as part of management's strategy to focus coverage on political affairs and by implication to move coverage away from literary and cultural criticism. This is only the most recent example of the ongoing push to replace staff writers with freelancers to drive down the costs incurred by struggling magazines. As of December 2021, 6,150 news workers were laid off amidst the pandemic, although one imagines that, as in academia, the pandemic offered a rationale for implementing cuts that had been planned for some time. In my mind, these two events are deeply related. Both speak to the devaluation of the kinds of intellectual work that scholars and critics perform. This devaluation has been particularly acute in mainstream literary and cultural criticism, in literary studies, and in the humanities more broadly. And there continues to be confusion and perhaps even suspicion concerning our forms of expertise in both the university and the popular media. It is for this reason that I'm especially happy to see books by English professors Jesse McCarthy and Mark McGurl, and a book by philosophy professor Amiya Srinivasan shortlisted for the NBCC Award for Criticism. These authors perform the same high wire act that Joe Livingstone managed to pull off almost every week. Each combines a distinctive passion for their subjects with a certain set of very carefully, very meticulously cultivated skills. Close reading and close looking, a casual fluency with the language of genre and form, dialectical inquiry, and genealogical critique. They show us how a monumental work of criticism can double as a magnanimous act of pedagogy. They model for their readers not what to think, but how to think, and they do so with a tolerance for complexity, an ear for irony, a gift for compassion, and a very precisely calibrated sense of humor. It is exactly these processes and their elegant, urgent expressions that are threatened by austerity today across both academia and journalism. Prizes can only mean so much if the field of contenders is constrained. Of course, the constraints on who can write criticism, and for that matter, who can read it, are established well before anyone arrives at the threshold of the college classroom or the magazine office. The problem of access to education and its unequal distribution of the means of writing and reading is, to my mind, the central problem of any meaningful politics of the literary. Yet even within the small and always elite niche of literary culture that any nominee or winner of this prize or any of the NBCC prizes inhabits, there are things I think we can do to help expand the means of producing and consuming criticism. It's for that reason that I'd like to donate half of the prize money to sponsor membership dues for the Freelance Journalists Union. And I would like to donate the other half to the Fighting Fund of the UCU, the UK's University and College Union. And I would urge all critics and editors with secure jobs and with prominent perches from which to speak to do what they can to support or to continue to support precarious laborers in our industries. Thank you and have a good night.